Welcome back, listeners, to Empires of India, from Mughals to the British Raj. Today, we're covering a monumental event that shook the foundations of British rule in India, the Uprising of 1857.
This event is often called the First War of Independence, marking a pivotal point in India's resistance against colonial rule. It wasn't just a rebellion, it was an explosion of anger, resentment, and patriotism that united various sections of Indian society.
Yes, and while the British referred to it as the Sepoy Mutiny, the story is far more complex. It involved not only soldiers, but also peasants, landlords, and rulers from different parts of India. Today, we'll explore the causes, major events, and the extraordinary heroism of those who dared to stand against the might of the British Empire.
To understand the uprising, we need to look at the causes. By 1857, British policies had created widespread discontent across India.
That's right. The doctrine of lapse, introduced by Lord Dalhousie, allowed the British to annex princely states if a ruler died without a male heir. This led to the loss of sovereignty for many kingdoms, including Jhansi and Awadh.
Then there was the heavy taxation under the British land revenue system. Farmers and peasants were burdened with high taxes, often leading to loss of land and widespread poverty.
And let's not forget the cultural and religious interference. The British introduced social reforms, like banning sati and promoting widow remarriage, which many Indians saw as an attack on their traditions.
A major flashpoint was the introduction of the Enfield rifle. The cartridges were rumored to be greased with cow and pig fat, offending both Hindu and Muslim soldiers, as it required biting the cartridge to load the rifle. This sparked outrage among the sepoys, who felt their religious beliefs were being deliberately disrespected.
It was a perfect storm of political, economic, and cultural grievances that set the stage for a massive uprising.
The rebellion began in Meerut on May 10, 1857, when sepoys who refused to use the cartridges were punished. Their comrades rose in revolt, killing British officers and marching to Delhi.
In Delhi, they proclaimed Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor, as their leader. Though Zafar was a symbolic figurehead with little real power, his endorsement gave the rebellion a sense of legitimacy.
From there, the rebellion spread like wildfire. In Kanpur, Nana Sahib led a fierce resistance. In Jhansi, Rani Lakshmibai became a symbol of defiance, leading her troops into battle with unmatched courage.
Her bravery was legendary. When her kingdom was annexed by the British under the doctrine of lapse, she refused to surrender. She famously said, "Main Mary Jhansi nahi dungi," I will not give up my Jhansi.
In Awadh, Begum Hazrat Mahal mobilized her forces against the British, proving that women were at the forefront of the struggle. Her strategic acumen and leadership inspired thousands to join the cause.
The uprising wasn't limited to soldiers and rulers. Ordinary men and women played a crucial role, whether it was providing shelter to rebels, fighting on the front lines, or supplying food and ammunition.
One remarkable story is that of Mangal Pandey, a sepoy whose defiance against the British sparked the initial unrest. Though he was executed, his actions ignited a flame that couldn't be extinguished.
Another powerful figure was Tantia Tope, who led guerrilla campaigns against the British, using the terrain to his advantage. His tactics made him a formidable opponent and a thorn in the side of the British forces.
The rebellion was also marked by incredible acts of solidarity. Hindus and Muslims fought side by side, united by a common cause. This unity was a testament to the deep-rooted resistance against colonial rule.
Despite the bravery of the rebels, the British response was brutal. They brought in reinforcements, including troops from Britain and other colonies, and launched a series of counterattacks.
The siege of Delhi was one of the most significant battles. After months of intense fighting, the British recaptured the city. Bahadur Shah Zafar was arrested, exiled to Rangoon, and the Mughal Empire came to an end.
The rebellion was crushed by 1858, but not without immense bloodshed. The British used scorched earth tactics, burned villages, and executed thousands of rebels and civilians alike. The scale of their retaliation was staggering.
But the rebellion left a lasting impact. It marked the end of the East India Company's rule in India. The British Crown took direct control, marking the beginning of the Raj. Queen Victoria's proclamation promised reforms and non-interference in religious practices, but trust had been shattered.
The uprising of 1857 was a turning point. While it didn't achieve independence, it planted the seeds of nationalism and showed that Indians were willing to fight for their rights and freedom.
The heroism of leaders like Rani Lakshmibai, Nana Sahib, and Tantia Tope continues to inspire generations. Their stories remind us of the resilience and courage of those who dared to challenge a powerful empire.
And while the British tried to dismiss it as a mutiny, Indians remember it as the first war of independence, a moment when people from all walks of life came together to resist oppression.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, the spirit of freedom burns bright.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. The Uprising of 1857 was a chapter of bloodshed, bravery, and heartbreak. It was a moment that changed India forever, setting the stage for the long struggle that would eventually lead to independence.
In our next episode, we'll explore the rise of Indian nationalism and how leaders like Gandhi, Nehru, and others picked up the torch lit by the rebels of 1857.
Stay tuned with Westferry Times. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends and family. Let's keep these stories alive and learn from the past to shape our future.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the incredible history of India.